2 Victorias.
2 Victorias.
Isn't that crazy?
Now what are we gonna do?
Ooh, baby. Okay. I swear my eyes are getting worse.
Same.
Really?
Glasses.
I'm like, even that is blurry, but then I'm like, maybe it's just because I've been reading all day. I've been looking real close at something.
Potentially.
Or maybe I'm just an old lady.
Getting blinder by the day. Hard to tell.
Alright. Oh, these.
Those.
Oh, we're already recording.
Everything's on.
Hello, hello. I can barely hear myself.
Okay.
Like, hardly anything at all.
Hello.
I can hear you loud and clear.
I can kind of hear you.
I am.
I know what knob.
Nothing. I can hear.
I am
my
nothing.
voice.
Let's see.
That's my existential dread pulling through.
How about now?
Hello, hello. That's
How
a little.
about now?
You're super loud, and I just am like. Oh, there we go. That's my voice. I
Is
can
that
hear it.
my voice?
Is that my voice? Okay.
Cool. Is it too loud?
I don't think so. Nope.
We're good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
How does it sound to you?
I don't know.
Oh.
I simply just sat down.
I thought you
I
were
left my ears behind.
a vampire and you could do everything all at once.
I'm working on it.
My line read is a shorty but a goodie.
Love that press.
Hello.
Hello.
How do I sound?
Good.
So do you
Hello. Okay.
like it? Alright. Nope. Stop ruining everything. Bella was sleeping peacefully when I climbed up to her bedroom window early Monday morning. I'd brought oil to grease the mechanism, entirely surrendering to that particular devil, and the window now moved silently out of my way. I could tell by the way her hair lay smooth across the pillow that she'd had a... Sorry. Gosh, I tried to make it so that I wouldn't have to start all the way over. Meh, nope. I could tell by the way her hair lay smooth across the pillow that she'd had a less restless night than the last time I was here. She had her hands folded under her cheek like a small child, and her mouth was slightly open. I could hear her breathing move. I could hear her breath moving slowly in and out between her lips. It was an amazing relief to be here, to be able to see her again. I realized that I wasn't truly at ease unless that was the case. Nothing was right when I was away from her.
That's what I just remembered.
What?
We have to mail those 3 books out.
Oh. Cool.
Anyway.
Cool
So
thing
many
to
things to
remember.
do.
I know. We need a personal assistant who will work for free.
I do need that, but I also need it to be someone who just listens into every conversation we have and also is just around when I'm working on things. Like, if I could compile everything into a list, that would defeat the purpose of needing someone. Like, I need to just be able to be like, oh, hey, can you remember to do that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I need
So how do we
to
work
have
this?
thumbs.
Yeah, I'm like, it has to be somebody who can just live here,
Mm-hmm.
but not bother us
Yep.
by living here.
Mhm.
Like, they just are silent in the corner until I'm like, oh crap, I need to do those thank you notes. Oh shoot, I need to update my list.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Baby.
Where did you... Oh, he
Oh.
can't even be around for us to have this conversation.
You're
You suck at
already.
this job.
No offense. Look at him.
He's an angel.
Oh, I bet he has new poop on his butt.
Oh, good job. Cats are so gross, and the older they get, the grosser they are.
Yeah.
Oh.
No offense, baby. You're getting gross age though. But you're still cute.
He is beautiful.
You're still cute.
Sniff your toe. Come here.
Straight up looks the other way.
Come here!
Oh, he tried to jump, but he hit the cord, and so he thought he couldn't make it.
That wasn't in your wow. So
He's too
embarrassing.
big.
It's so embarrassing to be a cat also.
Baby, why do you choose today of all days to be out and about?
He's blessed us. Does he have like a little heart on the back of his knee? Turn around. Walk that way.
No, he won't. He's not going to walk that way for the rest
What if I
of the
throw
day.
something that way? An
Well,
orange.
he will go there, because that's where he sits.
Look how cute.
He's cute.
Oh, it's not like a heart, but it's just like a little circle.
A circle, yep.
Oh.
Baby. Okay, should we?
Are we recording?
Oh, man.
Emily,
Hi.
we have, it's amazing. All the time, every week, we have new patrons.
Again, more? Still?
Yes,
Yay!
it keeps happening.
I love it.
I do too. I would like to give a great big huge welcome out to Emily in Texas.
And I would like to give a huge also shout out to Riley from California.
These are all huge shout outs, BT dubs.
Yeah.
This is Amber in North Carolina.
We
Hello.
Oh, Jeanette from somewhere.
That's-
Delaware.
Yes. All the way up in Delaware.
Crushed it.
And then Victoria from Pennsylvania.
Welcome, new babies, to the
Guys.
club.
Thank you.
I love you.
We definitely do that. What about updates?
Well, okay. There's lots of things happening right now, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So many ups, so many dates. I don't even know what to tell you, except that we have a very big, very fun Christmas extravaganza project we've been working on, which you guys are gonna die over because it's so cool. It's gonna be on our Etsy. We're gonna get pre-sale up soon. Patreon's gonna hear about it first, so I'm gonna post in there this week. We'll probably tell you guys next week. But it's so amazing. It's been so much work, but it's so beautiful.
So beautiful. It will bring a tear to your eyeballs.
One or the other.
I guarantee
or
it.
both.
Or none if you're are a vampire and can't cry.
Yeah, only if you can't cry will you be immune from the tears. So that's happening. We have a couple new designs that'll go up in the shop soon. We have new magnets that I forgot to post last week that will also go up in there. You know, just the usual things are chaotic and just happen whenever I have time.
Things are chaotic, but things are awesome. And you guys, we are growing. We're growing our podcasts. We're growing our little thing that we do here. And it's really fun and it's really exciting. So
Yeah. Also, yesterday I spent 12 hours building a website for you guys. What?
All right, I'll tell the truth. About 4 months ago, we asked my husband to build a website for us, and he was like, sure, I'll do it. And then, about a week ago, I was like, listen, we're just going to do it ourselves.
We simply cannot be on any other chaotic timeline
no.
but our own.
And so Emily just was like, let's just do it. And Emily just did it.
I just did it. It'll probably be posted by the time this episode comes out, so go check out therememberpodcast.com.
It's very
What?
beautiful, very fun, very awesome.
Yes.
Good job, Em.
Anyway, so that's fine. We have a couple people who are going to start helping us out behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So that's exciting. And believe it or not, I am getting my life together. It still seems like I don't, but I am. And things are up and up.
Emily gives herself a hard time about this, but she's got her life together more than most people I've ever known, so it's fine. You're
It
good,
is
girl.
fine.
You got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's Update Corner.
Cool.
So if you've been listening this far already and you're not sure why, my name is Emily.
And my name is Marin.
And this is
Remember Twilight.
a podcast where we talk about every chapter of the Twilight Saga.
This week we are in Midnight Sun,
Midnight Sun.
possibly the new greatest one of the saga.
Definitely the new greatest one of the saga. Can confirm.
This week is chapter 7, Melody. And is this, Emily, is this a chapter that is not in Twilight?
It is, because I'll tell you why. Well, most of it is anyway. Right? Right.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Because guess what?
It's all
No
Edward.
Bella here.
It's all Eddie boy.
Just Edward.
My boy
doing
Edward.
His stuff. that
Oh
he
my
does.
gosh.
What does he do? What was he doing last week?
Last week was the grab and poke.
How could I forget?
So he actually got to sit in a car with Bella to see if he could handle
Ooh.
it for even 10 minutes, let
Ooh.
alone 4 hours.
Yeah. But guess what? It's sunny this weekend, so Edward cannot go back to school. Plus, Bella has that beach trip with Mike. Mike.
Can you believe she said yes to him?
How
Also,
dare she?
how dare she
So
even?
rude. Anyway, so Edward has just dropped Bella off because he got her out of gym, and he heads back to school, but school's still not over, so what does he do?
Well, he doesn't go in school.
No way, he simply sits in his car by himself because he has things to think about,
Plus-
and he needs alone time.
Because he wants that scent to smack him across the face 3 or 4 times.
Yes, just a nice firm smack.
He wants an assault from her scent.
A whole assault. And then he also, I mean, here's the things he has to think about. Does Bella think I'm cute? Yes or no? He won't just write it on a note and scoot it across the biology table.
I know,
toward
literally,
her.
you could ask her.
Like, literally, I know that asking someone if they find you attractive is like nightmare territory, but if you're Edward Cullen, just do it. Just ask. You know what I
He
mean?
can't, though.
You just ask.
He's so used to knowing everybody's thoughts that this one person who he doesn't know, he can't actually talk to her. Talking to people's hard.
But if he was just like, let me write a note and it says, Bella, I think you're really cute. Do you think I'm really cute? Yes or no?
What would Bella do with that note?
Slide. She would get it and she'd be like,
She'd get up and walk out or trip out of the classroom.
is this a joke? Is this from you? Is this to
Who's
me?
this from? What are
Is
you
this
trying
from
to do?
Exactly. It might backfire, you're correct. Anyway, he's like, okay, so attraction is this whole thing. It doesn't mean that she loves me if she thinks I'm cute. That's different. But they're sister feelings.
They truly are. So many people get them very confused.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the same thing. I was so happy when I finally figured that out in my life. It took me until well into like where I am now before I was like, oh, just because I think somebody's incredibly good looking does not mean I in fact love them.
Yeah.
2 different things.
Yep.
Weird.
Weird.
Cool.
Cool. Weird and cool. So he's like, I have no idea if she is attracted to me, and am I ever gonna get over not knowing what she's thinking about? I don't know what happened, but my face is so itchy right now.
Well, hold on a second.
I know that there's 400
You do
furs
have a
on me,
hair.
'cause I
Turn
think
towards me a little
that-
bit. Yeah, okay. That was a
That's
big
not
one.
where it is.
But that was
it's
a
just
big
my
fluff.
whole face is so itchy. Oh,
Are you
look what I
having-
caught.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, Malfoy. Constantly.
She scratched both sides of her nose and came away with a fingerful
A
of
fluff
fur.
ball.
Does it feel better?
It feels better.
I'm nervous you're having an allergic reaction
To Malfoy?
to, I don't know, makeup or something.
Oh,
Remember when
well.
your face kind of broke out?
That's definitely
last
not
year?
this feeling. It's
Was
just
that
a
the year
tickle
before?
feeling.
I don't know when that was.
It's just an ongoing issue.
I
have.
didn't like it. It scared me.
Anyway. And so he's like, let me do a compare and contrast. Bella versus Shelley and Jessica. And so he gets out his board in his car. Do you think maybe he just keeps a erase marker and he'll just like draw diagrams
On the
his
windows?
windshield?
Oh man. This
And
is
he just sits there surrounded by like his thoughts and looks at them.
you just created my new favorite Edward AU, where he just is in his car drawing diagrams and charts, large paragraphs, equations all over the windows. The blings come in and they have to like wipe it off every time they get in.
They have like the daily wipe off Edward's insanity from the windows moment.
They love this little brother so much. They put up with more from him than anybody else.
You know what else I wish was in Edward's car? Is if, you know how there's like those like plasticky mats that like maybe like a Dance Dance Revolution home game would be that has like the touch whatever. He has one of those for his dashboard that is a keyboard.
They make those.
Yeah.
They make a roll-out keyboard, so he just rolls it out, starts playing.
He just sits on the center console.
I was
and
gonna
then
say,
he just
does he have
plays.
to move the steering wheel? You can push it down a little bit.
Maybe his is detachable. I don't know.
He had Rosalie fix a little detachable.
So it's an easily pianoable dashboard.
Big fan.
Perfect.
Oh man,
Okay.
Edward.
So he's writing on the windows and he has like one half of the windshield is like reasons I know Jessica thinks I'm cute, and then the other side of the window is reasons I know Shelley thinks I'm cute, and then all the rest of the windows are like physical traits that Bella shows when in my presence. And he's looking around and he's like, they're all the same,
They
but
are the
are
same.
they?
Oh no. It's very confusing.
It's really hard. And then he goes and he circles like, okay, this one could mean fear. This one could mean attraction. But he ends up just circling everything with both colors. And it's just so confusing. The comparison was inconclusive.
Oh man.
Oh, Edward. So he's like, I don't want to believe that Bella thinks I'm cute because she already knows how much of a weirdo I am. So she's got to have already taken that into consideration, and she's just always afraid of me. That's what's happening, right?
Edward! I want to give him a hug.
He needs something for sure.
Poor sweetie.
So he also remembers that time when he accidentally had a hand of a brush and Bella was like, ew, disgusting, cold.
Edward, no. It was like, oh my gosh, he touched me. I read the book, I know.
We know Bella very well, Edward, and she certainly was not yanking it away.
No.
And then, or he remembers all of Jessica's Edward Cullen fantasies. And he starts to place Bella in Jessica's spot, and he goes through some of these daydreams.
Just in the car?
Right
At
here,
school?
covered by his notes.
Edward, go somewhere else.
And he starts to get a quicken of a breath while he thinks about imagining his arms wrapped around her fragile body and pulling her in tight and brushing the heavy curtain of her hair back from her face and just tracing the shape of her lips and leaning in close to her where he could feel the heat of her breath on his mouth, getting closer still.
Just in the car?
Right here.
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, no one's around.
Okay.
It's the middle of class still.
Sure.
It's fine. You can have daydreams in the parking lot.
I think that there might be a little bit more than just a daydream.
There certainly is things happening below window view, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Okay, you guys, I have a treasure. From the first time I read through this book, I wrote a sticky note for this page.
Oh, yay.
This is an original Midnight Sun Emily thought. And I wrote, are Edward and Bella's first interactions just Edward role-playing out some of Jessica's fantasies? Please discuss. Yes or no?
So he's like, all right, I don't know how to do this, but obviously Jessica does.
Uh-huh.
So is he Jessica or is Bella Jessica?
Bella is Jessica.
So he's still him through Jessica's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Erase Jessica's face, insert Bella's.
Yes, yes, all of that. And he's like, Jessica wanted this, so I guess I'll see if Bella does too. And then Bella likes it, and he's like, all right, I mean, I remember how this scene goes. And then he always cuts it off when it gets, like, to the...
Sexy part.
The, like, too far parts. I think that's true.
That's what he did, because he's not watching TV. He doesn't
way.
watch Outlander. He doesn't know how to do it.
Oh my gosh,
Think
if
if
he
he
did,
did.
Bella would literally rip her clothes off every time she looked at him.
Exactly like Claire
More
does.
than she is already.
I know.
He stops this daydream right in its tracks and he's like, I simply can't get that close to Bella's mouth because I will kill her. So I have to end my daydreams here.
Oh, I thought he was afraid he would have sex with her.
Also, maybe
I
that.
have a question.
Okay.
Is Twilight a... you know when you go to the fair and...
No, I've never been to the fair.
What? My God. I don't... We gotta go to the fair
Okay.
next year.
Yeah.
It's here this year.
I
Why?
know.
Why? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, whatever. You go and you're walking down and there's booths here and there's booths here and some of them are selling like bracelets that you can stamp your own name into and some of them are selling like really cool parkas. Like headbands with ears on them. And then you walk past one accidentally and the guy goes, come in here and I'll tell you a story. And you're like, okay, I could sit down for a minute. And you go in there and he just is like, once upon a time, Jesus died for your sins. And then he just gives you this pamphlet that tells you that sex will kill you. Is that what Twilight is? One of those pamphlets? Is Twilight a sex will kill you pamphlet?
I think it might. I didn't mean to be, but I think it ended up
Those
being
are the
like
vibes
that.
I get from Edward.
Edward is certainly, well,
He thinks that sex will kill Bella.
is he wrong? I mean,
Well, he
in
doesn't
the
know.
end, no, but he thinks it will.
He definitely doesn't know, but I just feel like it's one of those stories that they read to you in one of those creepy booths at the fair.
Okay, new idea. We join a fair, we become one of those booths, we invite people
just
in,
read
and then we
Twilight.
read Twilight.
We have
We
now
give you a
become
copy of Twilight.
the sex
we
will
do
kill you people.
like a little sit-down storytelling time about this one time this vampire and this human fell in love, and they had sex, and she almost died and gave birth to a demon. And then she had to become a demon herself.
Okay, so now here's the other part of that story. Every time I've walked out of one of those booths, which there were like 5 or 6 times where, and then it got
5
funny.
or 6.
Well, it got funny after a while because then I'd be like, with Adam, my brother, and I'd just be like, let's go in there. And so he and I would go in and we would just be like, oh my gosh. And then we would take the pamphlet and just keep them. And so I used to have a little stack of like sex will kill you pamphlets. And I would just kind of like the first few times I left just being like, what just happened to me? But then like the last few times it was just like, that was really funny. Imagine somebody walking out of our booth.
With a copy of Twilight.
Completely converted.
They're like, all right.
Converted to our way of life.
I mean, it's fine.
I agree. Yes, that's what we've done to all of you guys.
Ha 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 ha.
I don't think sex will kill you.
Oh, I know it won't, so don't worry.
Thank
you. Okay. Where's Edward?
Well, he's
yeah,
like,
he can't love Bella because
yeah,
it's-
attraction is
will kill
impossible. Is already too attracted to Bella in the worst way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, do I even want Bella to think I'm cute? Should I even want her to think I'm cute?
Oh,
If she does,
no.
then I'll just disappoint her because we can never touch.
Right, and then he bears his testimony.
He does.
Do you remember when he bore his testimony
With
before?
every fiber of my being.
I love it so much. I'm so glad that got
ache
kept
to
in
be
there.
a normal man. Yes. He won't even allow himself his own daydreams of Bella. He just has to use Jessica's because, you know, it's just, he will kill her.
He's so
He
sad.
will kill her. He will drain her blood.
Oh.
What kind of relationship could I offer her when I couldn't risk touching her?
I know.
Long distance.
Money.
Also money.
A money long distance relationship.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Buy Bella a house in London and send her there. Also buy her really nice video Skyping equipment.
Video Skyping, texting, do a lot of videos. Lots of videos, lots of texting.
Mm-hmm.
Fine,
Done.
right?
Everybody's happy.
Am I right?
I'm happy.
I think you're right.
Bella's definitely happy.
We're all right.
Edward Edward will also make Alice be roommates with Bella to make sure Bella doesn't die.
Alice would love that.
She'd be fine.
Oh my gosh.
We solved it again.
There are different kinds of relationships. Isn't that weird?
What? You mean to tell me you do not have to get married? Okay. Edward is confused because of all these things.
It is
And
confusing.
he's like, I've never felt so human, not even when I was a human. Because guess what? When I was a human and I was 17 and I was dying, there was this war and all I wanted to do was join this war, but my mom was like, don't join the war. But he wanted to. And he's like, the only person I've ever loved was my mom.
I'm on the side of mom.
Yeah. So everything is weird. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, he just naturally fell in love with Bella. And he wants to be able to touch her. And then he looks at his hands and he's like, these are the hands of a killer. And while he's staring at his palms, here's Edward in his car, windows covered in writing, staring at his hands. And Emmett, okay.
Really? Ready?
Boo!
That's the first time that Emmett ever got to scare Edward. He's so happy about it.
And he comes into the most awkward situation.
What are you doing, you weirdo?
The teacher thinks you're on drugs, bro. Where have you been? And Edward's like, oh, I was doing good deeds. Caring for the sick, you know how it goes. And Emmett's just like, okay. And then he gets in the car and he's like, oh, the girl again?
We both circled it. Does this count?
I don't know. Victoria, does this count? I don't remember if she gave us any for this. I think Edward,
Starts
for the
calling
next
her Bella.
couple chapters, is out of the Bella habit. I think it's chapter 9 that he calls her the girl some more. So if I'm wrong, there'll be a thing here. If I'm right, here we go continuing. So Emmett's like, this is weird. And Edward's like,
Yes, I know.
And then Emmett's like, she does have a great flavor though, doesn't she?
He should not say this to Edward. Edward almost kills him.
Edward becomes a very growl. And Emmett's like, it's calm down. I'm not literally eating her right now. I'm just saying she does smell good. And then Rosalie gets in and she's like, ew, Bella smell. And Jasper gets in and he's like, oh, quite nice, quite nice.
Cool.
Edward hates everything about it. Alice comes over to the window of the car and puts her hand out and she's like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I guess I am.
She comes in hard with more Buffy speak. Where she's like, she walks up and goes, I only saw that I was. You'll have to tell me the whys.
Yeah.
Which is very Buffy speak-ish. I
It
love
is. So he plops the key in her hand. She goes and gets the truck and he follows her to Bella's house. And he talks about how loud the rain is and how Bella probably wouldn't even be able to hear her truck. But he still looks in her window while they're there to see if she'll come and take a look. And she doesn't.
But he goes, maybe she wasn't there. What?
Where else
Where would she
be?
go?
She doesn't have a
she
truck.
didn't have her
Charlie's
truck.
not home. It's raining.
Would somebody else have come and picked her up?
No, everyone else was in school.
Edward. She's home.
Do you think she got hurt and got picked up by the ambulance and she's at the hospital now? That's like maybe.
He does.
And he's like, I can't even hear her thoughts to check if she's happy or safe. This sucks. So Alice gets in the car. They drive home in like 2 minutes because Edward speeds everywhere. And when they get home, they all go and do their things. And so we learn about the Cullen hobbies. Emmett and Jasper are in the middle of an 8-board chess game, which they have attached to the window or the wall. To the window.
No. It's just spread out on the floor next to the window.
Okay, fine. I was hoping it was a vertical chess game.
It's like magnetic
Everything's
boards.
Velcroed. So so they can really see it from a good
Velcro's
vantage.
so much better than magnets. You're right.
Crunk, crunk. You know, the crunching sounds all day long.
I do.
And Edward tells us that they don't let him play, and that only Alice would play games with him anymore. Is that the saddest thing anyone's ever heard?
It truly is. They're
It's
like,
so
no.
sad.
Edward walks over. Hey guys, what are you doing? And they're like, no,
Cheater.
go away. He just goes and plays the piano because he's sad.
Alice is busy doing a whole new fashion line for Rosalie on her computer. Rosalie is on the couch, 20 channels a second. That's my after school activity too. And Esme is upstairs working on blueprints.
Okay, I have a question. Is Esme, I know that she's like an architect and she designs all of the buildings. Does she also build them? Because he says that here.
Yeah, she does all
Perhaps
like the restorations.
she would build this one for our next home or the one after that.
Heck yeah, she does it all. She
She's
plans it, builds it, decorates it.
no, and she doesn't even have to wear a hard hat.
No hard hats required
Oh,
here.
good. Well, although I do want to see her in one.
I mean, she might
Think
wear
how
a cute one.
adorable. Yes.
Just for fun. Just for the look. Keep up the charade.
You know she would.
She goes to the hardware store and she's like, I need one hard hat, please. And you're like, okay.
Pink.
You guys. Alice leaned her head around the wall after a moment and started mouthing Emmett's next moves to Jasper. So they won't let Edward play because he cheats, but Jasper will absolutely let Alice cheat for him.
Of course. That's so different. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, definitely. That's better and rude. Rude, Jasper, so rude. Edward finally, he has his new composition he needs to test out. So he goes and he sits at the piano and he do up and down, and it's still in perfect pitch.
I'm sure he tunes it all the time.
It's,
Do you
yeah.
do you think that Edward played the piano as a human, or is this a skill he was like, I'm really bored as a vampire, and so learned it after he became a vampire? I wonder.
Great, cute. I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard for a vampire to
No.
perfectly play the piano. I just wonder if he played it when he was... I mean, a lot of people, like in the late 1800s, early 1900s, had a piano in their house. Almost everybody, even poor people, because that's what you did. You would play the piano and sit around the piano and sing.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Maybe. That'd be cute.
I know. That's what I thought.
Little
Cute
baby
little
Edward. Oh.
Him and Walt Disney playing the piano.
Yep. They were friends.
I
We've
do.
talked about this. And Esme hears these notes and she stops drawing, and Edward starts to play his song, and he's like, oh yes, it sounded even better than I imagined.
Edward Bragg!
And then Esme's like, oh, Edward is playing again, and she smiles and she gets up and she walks to the top of the stairs. And then Edward starts adding more notes, and so Esme sits down at the top step, and she's happy that he has a new song because it's been way too long, and boy, does it sound lovely. Rosalie is annoyed by this, and she's like, oh, Edward's composing again. And
Oh no.
in that moment, she slipped.
Oh no.
I saw why she was in such a poor temper with me. With Rosalie, it was always about vanity. The music came to an abrupt halt. I laughed before I could help myself and threw my hand over my mouth.
I have so many feelings about this because, first of all, it isn't Edward's fault that he can hear everybody's thoughts. So it's not like he's being purposefully invasive. You know, he isn't reaching in. He's not like Arrow, who's like, come here. It just happens. And so he just hears people's thoughts, whether or not they're embarrassing. And of course he sees this one and he's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And it's just like an instinctive thing, and he laughs out loud, but I'm like, that's so rude to embarrass her. And he doesn't tell anybody, and he doesn't
No.
like openly embarrass her, but now she's mortified. She's super embarrassed because now he knows that but I'm like, this isn't his fault that he knows or can read your mind. He can't shut it off.
Yeah, also she's been trying to keep it from him, and it's like, eventually he's gonna find out anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the point in trying to hide something from Edward? I don't know. It
She's
seems like a lot of unnecessary work.
I mean, she's just so embarrassed.
But like, I wish that they would just have a conversation, because obviously he already knows this thing about Rosalie. And if she had just been like, look, I know it's stupid, but I feel like this, and I know you're gonna find out anyway, so just know early, like when it happens.
Yeah, okay. That would definitely make things easier.
Because then it's not like a slip and everybody's around when he has this
Right.
reaction and he just like knows it's happening. He's Edward, so he's not going to tell anyone regardless. But then they could have had like a private conversation.
That's true. Come
I
on.
don't know.
So it's Rosalie.
Rosalie, just tell Edward that you are jealous of Bella. It's fine.
But not like in a I like you type of jealous. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a hard conversation to have.
Anyway, so yeah, he laughs before he can stop himself. Rosalie gets super mad. Emmett and Jasper are looking over, and Esme comes downstairs, and she's like, "Don't stop playing the piano, Edward."
She's such a good mom.
Yeah, go back, everybody, go back to what you were doing. And so Edward does start playing. Rosalie gets up and walks out to the garage, and he says that she's more angry than embarrassed. So she's angry at his reaction more than she's embarrassed about him finding out this thing, which also could have been avoided.
Mm-hmm.
And she says to him, she thinks to him, if you say one word, I'll put you down like a dog.
Cool.
Little hostile for the given circumstance, I
Honestly.
would say. But Edward just kind of laughs again, because what else is there to do? And so Emmett's like, "What's wrong, Rose?" But Rosalie just walks right into the garage under her car. And Emmett's like, "What the crap?" And Edward's like, "I don't know." And Emmett's just like, Esme's like, "Keep playing," and so he does. And she comes over and stands behind him, and she puts her hands on his shoulder.
This is what I was talking about earlier, how I want to give him a hug.
Mm-hmm.
He needs this kind of like reassurance that it's okay to have these big, huge, enormous, scary feelings.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't have it. He doesn't know what to do. And luckily he's got Esme, who's an angel.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give him that.
Yep. As he's playing his song, he likes it, but it's not quite right. And Esme asks if it has a name, and he's like, no. And she's like, well, is there a story behind it? And he's like,
Listen, he's like, well, it was the day of the grab and poke.
it all started with a grab and poke. And he's like, well, it's a lullaby, I suppose. And then as he's playing, he finally fixes it. And she's like, oh, a lullaby. And Edward's like, there was a story to this. And once he realizes that this is a Bella song, he knows how it goes. And it's about a sleeping girl in a narrow bed, dark hair, thick and wild, twisted around like seaweed across the pillow.
I have a theory. He says that her hair is like mermaid hair, like a seaweed.
Yeah.
He doesn't use the word mermaid, but I immediately was like, oh, that's why Bella's so different. She's a mermaid. She's a mermaid. Has she ever been to water? We don't know. Maybe she is a
The
mermaid.
second she touches the water in La Push, she just grows a
The
tail.
tail comes. That's
Oh my
why
gosh.
she's so different than other girls. She's not a girl at all.
Cool theory.
Thank you. I mean, it's really Stephanie Meyer saying that her hair was like seaweed.
No, that's true. That's true. Alice finally stops helping. What just happened to my voice? Alice stops helping Jasper cheat and comes over to join Edward and she starts to sing a wordless song 2 octaves above whatever Edward's playing.
Does anybody understand how high that is?
It's very high.
It's very high.
It's the top of the piano.
Yeah.
Or topper than the piano,
Yeah.
even, depending on where Edward's hands are. And Edward's like, that's good, but what if we change it like this? And so he fixes it a little bit, and she's like, got it, and changes her song. And they keep playing. This just seems so weird to me.
It does seem really weird, but I can totally see, like, Mark and me doing this.
Mm-hmm. Like, in the moment, I think it's normal for, like, a musical family to just
Yeah.
do a weird collaboration
It
like this.
definitely
but reading it,
is.
it's just like, what are you guys doing?
It is really normal. And coming from a super musical family and being with Mark for 20 years, this is 100% a normal thing for just an afternoon.
And as they're getting to the end of the song, Edward could see how the song must end because the sleeping girl was perfect just the way she was, and any change at all would be wrong, a sadness. So he finishes the song, and then he says a prayer
He does.
over the keys. Amen.
In the name of Carla Collins.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so then Esme strokes his hair, and I had a realization. Maybe. So she's like, it's okay, baby, you know, stroking his hair.
Mhm.
Maybe it's like pipe cleaners. Like, not like fuzzy like a pipe cleaner, but bendable like a pipe
Just like
cleaner. Right?
Metal? Thin metal strands?
I mean, how do you stroke a rock? It's
I thought we decided that vampire hair was like hair, but just harder hair.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, yeah, so it's like
So like if
little
a pipe
pipe
cleaner's
cleaners.
metal was this thin.
Yeah, exactly. And you
it
could just
like,
bend it to where it needs to go.
Okay. I
So
like
she's
that.
like gonna stroke it into these like finger waves.
Ooh.
She really likes that style. And
Give
Edward's like,
Edward some
stop
finger
it. And then he
waves.
just moves it back to where it
I
was.
really enjoy that.
He puts it down on his forehead again.
Uh-huh. And it just stays like that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Someone, somewhere, somehow, some way made a
Cool.
meme about our same theory about Jasper's mood
Why?
control going into his hair.
Well, and see, here's the thing. Like, I feel like the first time we talked about it was because he was in the cafeteria, and like the wind was blowing, but everything on him was holding still.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, did they listen to us and make
I
that
don't
meme?
know. If you're listening now and that was you and you know what I'm talking about, please message me because we need a meme maker because I don't know how to do it.
Oh my gosh.
But there's so many things that we say that are stupid. Anyway. And then, so yeah, she's brushing his pipe cleaner hair and she's like, it's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna work out. You deserve happiness. Fate owes you that. And he's like, thanks, Mom. And then she thinks to him, love doesn't always come in convenient packages. And he's like, ha. And so she continues and she says, you, out of everyone on this planet, are perhaps best equipped to deal with such a difficult quandary. You are the best and brightest of us all.
Oh, okay. Wow. And also, why? Why?
Why what?
Why is he the best and brightest? And
Well, look
why
at
is
him.
he... Yeah, he's like a freaking disaster anxiety boy. No. And why is he the best equipped? He's like murdered more people than any of them have.
Yeah, but he's already resisted Bella this long.
So is that why? Is that
Yeah.
what she's getting at?
None of the rest of them would have done the same except for maybe Carlisle.
Oh, Mom.
But yeah, Edward's just like, every mom would say that. But he goes, Esme was still full of joy. Esme was still full of joy that my heart had finally been touched. She thought I would always be alone. And she says to him again, she'll have to love you back if she's a bright girl, but I can't imagine anyone being so slow they wouldn't see the catch you are.
I mean, that's true.
And he's like, stop, Mom, you're making me blush. But inside, It cheered him up a little bit. So I think Esme just knows that she needs to like overly
So
like
I think I just realized,
confidence boost him to
Edward,
make him feel
Edward
good.
loves the words of like words.
Mhm.
Like that's his love language. He wants to be told how awesome he is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edward and Alice start playing the most annoying piano songs. And she's like, I wish you would tell me why you're laughing at Rose, but I know you won't. And he's like, nope. So she flicks him in the ear. And Esme says, be nice. And then he starts to play Esme's favorite song, which is a song about her and Carlisle. And so she says, thank you. And he goes, I didn't have to concentrate on the familiar piece.
Edward brag.
Instead, I thought of Rosalie and grinned to myself. And then he's like, you know, I kind of get Rosalie a little bit better now that I myself have become a jealous fiend.
Yeah, he's like, of course, her jealousy was 1,000 times more petty than mine. Quite the dog in the manger scenario. And I just was like, what? And then I did something that I've never done before.
Did you Google?
I did a Google. Because I was like, what is that? What? Dog in the manger? What? And so I did a Google.
Uh-huh.
I went to my favorite source of information, Wikipedia. And it's the fable of the dog in the manger is that there's a dog and he's in the manger and he's a big asshole. And he's like, I don't want this grass, but I'm also not going to let that horse have it.
Mm.
And the horse is just like, I'm starving. I really want that grass. And the dog is like, too bad. I got the grass. And the horse is like, you're not even going to eat it. And the dog's like, I don't care. I have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's saying that, like, and then it says, like, the dog in the manger is one who spitefully prevents others from having something for which one has no use. So it's not even that, like, they just want it. They just want to make sure that nobody else has it. It's kind of like billionaires.
I know people like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all the billionaires.
Right.
And there's also an allusion to it in Wuthering Heights.
Mm.
When I think, so there's Isabella and then, what's the other girl's name? It's her sister, Charlotte, maybe. And she doesn't want Isabella to be with Heathcliff, not because she wants to be with him, but just because she doesn't want Isabella to have him. And that's what Rosalie's doing, and that's why Edward says the dog in the manger. Edward's done a lot of reading.
I see. It's
Anyway.
like Rosalie is like, I don't want to date Bella, but I don't want Edward to date Bella, so I have to kill Bella.
Yes.
That's
So she's
okay.
like, I don't want Edward, but I don't want him to want anybody else. Yeah, he can't have anybody else especially if he doesn't want me.
Right.
And I also, when I was reading about this on Wikipedia, I felt a little guilty because there have definitely been times where I was Rosalie in this exact situation where I was like, well, no, my best friend, like, I don't want him, but I also don't want him to want anybody else. Like, so I was like, dang it.
Oops.
I'm a big jerk.
Well, so here's the difference, is you were able to grow and mature out of that.
I was.
Rosalie has not. So even if she doesn't want to be this way, she just is.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she tries to hide things like this, because she, like, on a deep level, she knows that it's unreasonable to feel like this, but she can't help it. And Edward kind of thinks about that, and he's like, I wonder how differently Rosalie's whole life and her whole personality would have been if she wasn't always the most beautiful person in the room. Would she be happier? Would she be more compassionate? But it doesn't matter because there's no way to change it now.
Right.
And so he's like, it was no surprise then that she'd been offended when I had not worshipped her beauty. Not because she wanted me, but it just made her mad that I didn't want her.
Yeah.
She was fine with Jasper and Carlisle because they were already both in love and in relationships. And he says, I thought that old resentment buried, but it was, that she was long past it. But apparently she had been reliant on the belief that if I did not find her beauty worth worshipping, there is no beauty on earth that would reach me. And Rosalie was mortally offended that I found some insignificant human girl more appealing than her. And he I guess in that moment he saw how Rosalie viewed Bella, and it really bothers him.
Yeah, well, he's like, it seemed comprehensible to me that Rosalie could think that Bella was Blaine at all. And he's like, a product of the jealousy, no doubt. But then I was like, or Edward, he used to think that Bella was Blaine.
Yeah.
So then I was like, do you think Bella is so gorgeous maybe because you love her so much?
That's usually how it goes.
So, yeah.
Yep. Suddenly Alice has a vision. And she's like, guess what, Jasper? But Edward's like, oh no, this. And so Jasper's like, what? And she says, I swear my tongue just got too lazy during quarantine from not talking to people. She says, Peter and Charlotte are coming to visit next week. They're going to be in the neighborhood. Isn't that nice? And Edward suddenly turns into a more statue than normal, and Esme's like, what's wrong, Edward? He's like, Peter and Charlotte are coming to Forks. And she's like, calm down. It's gonna be fine. They've been here before. And he's like, not since Bella was here.
Yeah, he's like, what if they smell her mermaid blood?
Mm-hmm. And Alice is like, they don't hunt here. And he's like, I don't care. They cannot be trusted. When are they coming? And she's like, they'll be here Monday. No one's gonna hurt Bella, though. And he's like, no, they won't. Not if I have anything to do with it. So then he's like, yo, Emmett, we gotta go hunting. And he's like, already? And he's like, well, we're coming back Sunday night, whenever. So depends on how long you want to spend. And so he's like, fine, let me go say bye to Rose. And he thinks, you really have lost it, Edward. And he's like, yeah, maybe. And Esme's like, well, play the new song for me one more time. And so he does. And he goes, I thought for a moment and then pulled the bottle cap from my pocket and set it on the empty music rack. That helped a little bit. My little memento of her yes. And then he starts to play the song.
Can I tell you the most embarrassing thing I ever kept?
Yeah.
From a boy.
Sure.
I don't even know if I can say it out loud. It makes my cheeks hurt and my eyes started to water a little bit.
I'll confess the most embarrassing, if no one gave it to me, I just kept it. Half a broken toothpick.
I remember you saying that before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I might have admitted this before when I was in a less embarrassed mood. But right now I'm like, this is the worst, this is the dumbest thing I ever kept. So a piece of gum that somebody had eaten. It was a cute boy named Brady. I thought he was really, really cute.
How old were you?
Oh, like 12.
See, that's fine.
Or like maybe 11.
Doesn't matter.
But like he was, we used
How did he give it to you?
Well, we used to swap gum.
Oh.
It was very intimate. I mean, I had never kissed anybody, but I was like swapping gum with people. And I was like, he gave me this gum and I took it and I put it in my diary, just squished it to the page. That's definitely still out there in the diary, squished.
Love that.
I hate it.
Here's the thing, everyone does weird, stupid crap like
oh
this.
my gosh, I have like a half of a dollar bill.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many dumb things that I've kept over the years from boys.
Yeah. Esme and Alice are like, what the crap? But they don't say anything about it. And
these guys, they respect each other's privacy a lot.
They
You
do.
have to when you're that close to each other.
Yep. Cut to mid hunting vacation.
That's so cool.
And Emmett and a bear are on their third match in the ring. And Edward calls over and he goes, hasn't anyone told you not to play with your food? And Emmett's just like, oh, hey, Edward. Waving at him. What's up, bro? And then the bear is like, yes, yeah. Cuts his shirt and he's like, cuts his shirt and squeals because his little claws were like on a rock.
It made him like, it was like when you get hit with a tuning fork in a cartoon.
Yeah. And Emmett's like, oh, Rose gave me this. And so he roars back at the bear. And after the lemonade cap and the calming CD, my third most favorite thing that I'm so glad made it onto an actual page is Edward sits down on the convenient boulder And that episode of Twilight didn't get to be called The Convenient Boulder, but dear listeners, I am begging you, I won't rig the system like I did last week, but I really hope you choose Convenient Boulder. Last week I gave them no choice but to choose Grab and Poke Volume 2. That was the only option I put on the poll.
I thought it was so funny.
They loved it. I won't do it this week, but I might. We'll see. Maybe I'll just put it 3 times to really give them the old hint.
Oh man, Convenient Boulder. This episode was called Edward Bears his testimony or something like that. It was
Edward Bear BEAR his testimony.
But the Convenient Boulder is a very lovely piece of Twilight.
It really is.
To me.
So he sits down. Emmett keeps punching the bear, and the bear tries to take his head off, and he just laughs.
I feel really bad for this bear.
Honestly, this is animal abuse. Should someone call Animal Protective Services?
Yes.
For the whole park?
Yes.
But I don't think he's actually punching it. He just thinks it's funny when it tries to like claw him and it can't. I don't think that he's like
swatting it,
pulling its arms off, or like breaking bones.
No,
he's just
maybe
like
not.
letting
He's just
it try
like
to attack him.
what you do with a cat. You just push it.
Yeah. Finally, he just attacks it, takes down a tree, and eats it.
Cool.
And then he comes over to Edward, and he's shirt ripped, covered in blood, sap, fur, hair a mess,
cool.
Grinning.
This is why Rosalie liked him so much.
But like, here's the thing. Why does Emmett specifically even keep clothes on when he goes hunting? He should just strip down, go after a bear.
You're right. You are right. But it is a little vulnerable.
It's Emmett. He does not care.
Very cool.
Neither does anyone else.
No, nobody does.
He's like, that was a strong one. I could almost feel it. And Edward's just like, oh my gosh. Emmett looks at Edward's clean white button down, and he's like, weren't you able to get the mountain lion?
Okay. But can we just, he's, again, with the button down.
It's not sleeveless, though.
On a camping/hunting trip.
It's all he wears.
While you're attacking animals and eating them. Button down?
He's a classy eater. He goes and he just snaps the neck of the mountain lion, and then he gets a spout and sticks it in, and then he gets his wine glass and just pours himself a cup.
Yes,
and he sits on a convenient boulder and he just sips his mountain lion blood while Emmett's
oh my gosh.
Punch me!
Somebody, anywhere, somebody, please draw that for me. Oh my gosh. I want that on my wall. Edward in his button down.
Yep.
Is he wearing slacks too? He may as well.
Slacks. He sits on a convenient boulder, but he also, for some reason, has like a little bistro table, and he puts out a tablecloth on the top of it.
A candle.
He has a book. He's reading Midnight Sun.
Edward
is sipping his blood.
And then Emmett's in the background fighting a bear. And Edward's like, "You're a child."
Yes. I'm classy. And Emmett's like, oh man, I wish that these bears were stronger. It would be more fun. And Edward's like, no one said you had to fight them. And he's like, but who else am I going to fight? Esme gets mad if Jasper and I really go at it. And Edward's like, oh, your life is so hard. And then Emmett gets ready to fight Edward. And he's like, come on, let's do it. Just turn it off for a minute. Let's go. And Edward's like, it doesn't turn off. And Emmett's like, well, I wonder what that girl does to keep you up. Maybe I should ask her for tips. And Edward's like,
not funny,
do
Emmett.
not ever talk to her. And so Emmett comes and sits by him, and he's like, sorry, I know you're having a hard time. I'm trying not to be an insensitive jerk, but that's just my natural state. And Edward doesn't laugh. And he's like, oh, so serious. What is wrong? And Edward's like, oh, I'm thinking about her. Well, worrying about her, actually. And he's like, why? You are here.
She is not in danger right now.
And then Edward's like, oh, Emmett, have you ever thought about how fragile they all are? And he's like, no, but I guess I did die almost from a bear. And Edward's like, oh yeah, bears. I have to now worry about a bear finding Bella just in the middle of the road. And Emmett's like, you literally sound insane. And he's like, well, listen, what if Rosalie was human? She could get eaten by a bear or hit by a car or lightning or fall downstairs or get sick or get a disease. Fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, burglaries, homicides. And Emmett's like, let's take a breath here.
She lives in Forks.
She might get rained on sometimes, but that's about it. And Edward's like, well, no, because out of all the places she could have moved, she came here where there's vampires. And Emmett's like, yeah, but it's us, so that's good luck, right? And Edward's like, no. Also, it's bad luck because of how she smells to me. And Emmett's like, yeah, but you have incredible self-control, so again, good luck. And Edward's like, but what about the van? And Emmett's like, that was an accident. And Edward's like, you didn't see it, tried to hit her 3 times. And Emmett's like,
but you were there. I love this, like, truth bomb that Emmett is being like, stop it. You are the best thing that's ever happened to this girl.
Yeah.
Go get her, you idiot.
Yeah. Well, and finally Edward's like, but she has the worst luck of all because I fell in love with her. A vampire fell in love with a human. And Emmett's like, he thinks about Bella and he's like, I don't really know why you love her. And Edward's like, well, I don't really know why you love Rosalie either. And then Emmett's like, oh yeah, about Rosalie, will you tell me what she's mad about? And Edward's like, no, I have no idea. And then Emmett tries to shove Edward off the rock, but Edward like hunkers down, and so as he pushes them, the rock just splits in half.
Cute.
And then Emmett starts to think about vampire Bella, and Edward's like, don't you dare think about that. And he's like, well, that seems like the easiest conclusion here, right? That fixes all your problems. And Edward's like, yes, it fixes mine, but it doesn't fix hers.
And Emmett's like, yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Do it then. And